Good afternoon, I'm John White with Black Video News here at the Martin Luther King Plaza on the east side of San Antonio, covering the Justice for Trayvon Martin case. With me is business and civic leader Joe Linson. Joe, thanks for being with us today. What was your take on today's rally?
I'm just encouraged by it.
What's the biggest encouragement that you're taking away from this?
I think the main thing is that people are understanding what our fight's about in America. It's not done. The fight's not over. And I think it's a continuous battle. I think from seeing all these young people in this multi-ethnic crowd, they understand that an injustice has been done and justice must prevail at some point. That's what I took from this today.
Well, you're encouraged about this. I mean, we're having basically another civil rights movement some 40 years after Dr. Martin Luther King. Do you see any light at the end of this tunnel? Do you ever see this fight ever ending or being won at some point?
To be honest with you, and I hate to say this, no, I don't. I was born in 1950. I'm 62 years old now, and just to give you some example, when I was born, it took me 13 years to get my, quote, civil rights, you know, the 63, 64 Civil Rights Act, give you some idea. I think the mistake that we made as African Americans, we accepted the fact that someone gave us our civil rights. Nobody can give you that. You're born with inalienable rights by God. Now, that we weren't allowed to exercise those rights, that's not black people's fault. That's the fault of the oppressors. But we got caught in this trap. They gave us our civil rights, and nobody can give you that. And I think that that's been the main issue. There's no such thing as, in my opinion, civil rights. They're human rights. And then inalienable rights, which mean that God gave us these rights. The day you came out of your mama's womb, you had every right as a human being. And so that whole, don't get me wrong, we've made some progress. Obviously, we can vote now. They took down the colored-only signs and all of that. The overt situation is clear, but covertly, not much has changed. And there's statistics to back this up. Look at the prisons. Look at the jails. They're full of us. We commit all this crime? I'm not buying that. And so you have to look at this. There's a systemic racism that's going on now that's hard to touch. And it's kind of like, it's like de facto. Nobody's fault, but it's just happening. It's not written on the books, but still, we've got the worst economics for child health, black men unemployed, black men in prison, you name it, we're the worst on the scale. 30 million African Americans here in 2012. We've got some real issues. And I think we got caught in this trap. Well, we got a black president, everything is solved. Don't get caught up in that. Glad for Obama, there's no question about that. But they're beating that brother up every day, 24/7, 365 days. You're trying to get him out of there. I don't think they're going to succeed. I think that what we have to do as African Americans is understand our history. And that we're not doing. If we understood our history, these brothers wouldn't run around with these pants halfway to their knees. We got to man up. Be excellent in everything that we do and fight the power. It's a daily fight. Frederick Douglass said, agitate, agitate, agitate. We got a long way to go. This battle hasn't even started yet, to be honest with you. And until we get some justice, I think that this Trayvon Martin situation can be a catalyst for black people to really come together in unity. I've mentioned in my comments, hope, unity, and justice. But we have to beg people to go vote. That's unheard of. It should be, because we don't understand our history. And as soon as we begin to get off our duff and understand the history of African Americans internationally and, of course, right here, we wouldn't be caught up in this Black History Month. You can't separate our history from U.S. history. Our history is inextricably woven into the American history. And I can tell you something, they knew exactly the power of the be, the founding fathers. They're brilliant. But at the same time, what do we do with all these Negroes? They knew right then how to count us. The only time we've been really counted in the Constitution is say 3/5 of all other persons. That's black people. For every 3 Negroes in Washington, congressmen, senators, they have more power. So they used our numbers to gain political and economic power. And we run around here saying that we're not political. Well, the air is political, the road we driving on is political, everything's political. And everything dealing with us is a racial issue because of we can't get around it. We're over it. I think there's a deep-seated psychological problem with the majority community in that they really feel guilty about what they did to us. That's Joe Linson's opinion. They feel guilty about it, and they are afraid that we're going to bring retribution like we're not that bad. We're not going to do that. Probably ought to, but we're not. That's just a joke there. But they're feared in psychology. They deep down they fear it. Don't look at the white woman. You know, the black male is the enemy. He's dangerous. This is Trayvon Martin. It's pretty clear. He's black. He's wearing a hoodie. He looks suspicious. Look like he's on drugs. How does God come to all those conclusions based on a 70-year-old guy walking in his neighborhood? We've got some real issues here, brother. And if justice isn't served, I fear for the consequences.
All right. All right. Joe Linson, businessman and civic leader here in San Antonio, and also known as the People's Mayor. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for y'all doing.
Covering the Trayvon Martin justice case. I'm down here at the Martin Luther King Plaza on the east side of San Antonio. For Black Video News, I'm John White.